Almost 3 years after it first recommended against creating a regulatory framework for over-the-top or OTT communication services like WhatsApp, Zoom, and Google Meet, the Telecom Regulatory Authority of India is revisiting its stance and starting consultations on how these services can be regulated. In a consultation paper released on June 7, the TRAI has asked stakeholders to send suggestions about regulating services and whether a selective banning of OTT services can be done as opposed to shutting down the entire internet. Regulating such services has been a long-standing demand of telecom operators, who have been advocating for same service, same rules. TRAI has sought written comments from stakeholders by August 4th and counter-comments by August 18th. The latest development comes after the Department of Telecommunications requested TRAI to reconsider its September 14, 2020 recommendations on a regulatory framework for OTT communication services in a letter dated September 7, 2022. The development signals the intersectionality in regulations around internet services, with multiple government agencies claiming a stake in the sector. The draft telecom bill released by the DoT last year also recommended bringing OTT services under its ambit by creating a licensing regime for them.
TRAI had no option, I think, because the DoT has been facing pressure from the telcos, the 3 or 4 major mobile players. They believe that their regulatory terms are more burdensome than the OTT players, who they believe, and I disagree, but they believe are offering competing services to theirs. And they want, therefore, the regulatory burdens to be comparable. So that is the pressure on the DoT, and DoT has again flagged this point to the TRAI. The TRAI is duty-bound to respond to a reference from the DoT.
The prime cause of concern arising from the consultation paper is the inclusion of selective banning of OTT services. Since a complete shutdown of telecommunications or the internet can have significant ramifications on the country's economy, TRAI is now exploring selective banning OTT apps, a recommendation that was first made by the Parliamentary Standing Committee on IT.
Whatever is happening over here, it would be a violation of net neutrality. The attempt here seems to be to consider creating a situation where instead of banning the entire internet, they would ban selective apps. And this has come because India has a checkered past with internet shutdowns, over 100 internet shutdowns in a year. Now, this is a problem because what happens when you ban an app is effectively you are banning all speech, including legitimate speech. The same problem that is there within an internet shutdown also lies with that.
And I think the very fact that banning of certain services appears in the title of this consultation paper should worry us. And banning is not typically a regulatory kind of a focus generally. Having said that, I think it is what I read in the consultation paper is the treatment of security and licensing in the same breath. It has always been my view that licensing and security are quite different. Security is a major issue, and particularly in these days. And threats due to security threats from communications are a reality. But I think we cannot afford to treat this serious problem in terms of licensing or not licensing.
This is not the only cause of worry. Also noteworthy is the inclusion of new age over-the-top communication services like WhatsApp, Signal, and Telegram in the definition of telecommunication services in the draft telecom bill. The TRAI has argued that while telecom operators and OTT platforms such as WhatsApp offer similar services, they are not bound by the same requirements. As a result, there is a need for regulatory parity. It said that telecom operators need a service license for offering voice and SMS services. And on the other hand, OTT communication service providers offer voice call, messaging, and video call services like the services provided by TSPs without any such license.
One of the things that is about lawful interception of messaging, there is an issue of proportionality. Are you going to surveil every single user because you want to catch one person? Another issue that pops up in the paper is around customer verification of individuals, saying that online messaging apps do not have verification of users. But the fact of the matter is that there is no benefit of customer verification that we've seen. There is a consistent attempt from the DOT and the TRAI to separate OTT communication services from all forms of communication services online. We need to remember that messaging is an integral part of multiple services. So to separate out messaging from every other internet service and put it under a licensing framework or a separate regulatory framework is extremely problematic.
Industry insiders are worried that the new set of issues raised in the latest consultation paper might rekindle debates on net neutrality. They believe a more nuanced approach is required towards security and licensing.
If you like this video, share it and subscribe to Business Standard. For more news, views and insights, log on to www.business-standard.com. Do also follow us on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Telegram and LinkedIn.
He's about to land his dream job. Business Standard.